Hi, welcome. Thank you for coming back today and enjoying the show with us. Thank you for tuning in. This is 27 Degrees SAG. We are broadcasting from the Galactic Center. I'm Duncan. I'm the producer, and I'd like to introduce our host, Kimla. Hi, Kimla.
Hi, Duncan. I just want to start at the show. This is our gratitude show. We are having Thanksgiving here in the States, and I thought it'd be a really good time to kind of search our hearts and say thank you and kind of list the things that we are grateful for and really get into a state of appreciation. So I first of all want to say thank you so much, and I appreciate my producer for getting us on and for doing all the back tech work. I really appreciate you, Duncan, and all of your support for the show.
No problem.
And also our sponsor, Ken Rolla for freshandalive.com. I want to thank our wonderful sponsor who has such wonderful, innovative, protective products for all of us and our energy. We have a great show tonight. I've got my sidekick with me, my husband, Bill Lowe, and he's our special guest tonight. Hi, Bill. How are you?
I'm doing well. Welcome everybody to the show. It's great to be here.
Great. Are you looking forward to Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving looks like it'll be a great one here in Florida.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you looking forward to Thanksgiving, Duncan?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. I got some food to cook, and I got some lasagna to cook, and it's just, yeah, and spending time with family, of course, and having fun, and doing activities like that is always great. So, yeah, it's gonna be good.
Yeah, Thanksgiving is, when I was a kid, I always just kind of took it for granted that, Thanksgiving had to do with pilgrims and Indians. And the older I got, I really kind of encountered a lot of, did that really happen? Was it really an event, or is it kind of blown out in a Hollywood, fashion about what really happened at the merger? Well, I want everybody to know that this year is the 400-year anniversary of Thanksgiving that took place in 1621 in Plymouth, Massachusetts. That's awesome, right? I mean, we've got to celebrate that.
That is awesome.
That's absolutely awesome. And for my research, I kind of wanted to really get some facts behind this. And of course, we all have heard of the Mayflower and how it brought over colonists. And basically, they came into Plymouth Rock, and they were known at that particular time, they called themselves saints. And they didn't call themselves pilgrims. That word kind of developed later on. But these particular colonists had a very tough time when they first, came over to the new country, because they encountered a lot of pandemics. Now we know what pandemics are, but they encountered a lot of diseases and a lot of setbacks, and really trying to navigate a entirely new land with new creatures and new boundaries, and and also new neighbors. And the Indians that were around that particular area at the time were called Wampanoags. And it was a combination of the Wampanoags tribe that throughout history and thousands of years, it was a blending of 17 different tribes. So through them pushing their boundaries and also bringing up challenges and different things with the colonists, they finally made it through their first year, and they had an amazing harvest. And so they put out the invitation to share their bounty with their neighbors, the Indians. And 4 men of the colonists set out for fowl hunting. And when the Indians arrived, there are written reports, that there were 90 people that came. And the Indian tribe, the Wampanoags, brought 4 deer to the celebration, along with all of the other harvest that they were celebrating at the time. So when we talk about, is it about the gathering? Is it about the food? Is it about sharing the harvest and sharing what you have and being grateful that you have such a bounty that you are able to share with one another? I think this really kind of brings it back. And if it happened 400 years ago, we may have commercialized it a little bit, just a tiny bit. But I think it brings us back into the feeling and the flavor and the emotion at the time as to exactly what we're celebrating, the roots of it for our particular Thanksgiving feast and our Thanksgiving gatherings, whether it's with friends or family or just by ourselves, or perhaps we're in service at this particular time. It is a wonderful time for gathering and giving thanks. And, you know, there's a psychologist, and her name is Kelly Miller. And Kelly Miller is the owner of A Bright Purpose. And she asked the question, and I thought this was kind of interesting. She asked the question, I want you both to kind of think about this. Are happy people grateful, or are grateful people happy? What do you think, Bill?
I think grateful people are happy.
Grateful people are happy. Yeah. Right. So you have to learn to express that appreciation and how thankful you are for everything and being in that state.
Yeah, I think you need to be grateful for everything that you have, and that includes family and friends and everything. And that being grateful makes you happy.
Yeah. All right. Duncan?
I totally agree with Bill. I thought about it 2 or 3 times, and I'm like, wait, no, happy people are grateful, but people, yeah, I'm like, there's so much going on in my head just from that simple question. So, yeah, I agree. I think it's both at the same time. You know, happy people are grateful, and grateful people are happy. I think inherently being grateful for things makes you appreciate things more, and then therefore you have a result of being happy. But happy people may not always be grateful for things, especially if they're psychopaths, because they can be happy still but not be grateful for anything. But that's what went through my head. So I agree more with Bill on that one.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's funny, but everything that we do has a megahertz, and that's an energy frequency, because everything in life is energy. And we can measure from 50 megahertz all the way up to 700. And when we measure gratitude, being grateful, being thankful, it always measures 540 megahertz. So
Wow.
it is right up there with one of the highest emotions that we can possibly experience, really. You know, it's kind of one of those things that when you stop and use your muscle of being thankful, being in the mode of appreciation, what happens is something that's absolutely remarkable. You know, we now have these machines that you can strap yourself to, and And I just love them so much because they give you an entire readout of exactly, what's going on in the body and how your energy is really responding to emotion. And when we back it up to emotion, the root of it is your thoughts. And so sometimes we do things, or we accept things, or we expect things without even giving a thought to being appreciative for that. I know I'm totally guilty of that. Totally guilty of that. But do you think, Bill, the older and more wiser that you are now, that you stop and appreciate things a little bit more?
I think so, because you've had a lifetime to do different things, and you look back at all the things that you've done, and you in the present day, you look at those things and you're really grateful for all that you've experienced, and you continue to experience things in life until you die, I guess, but it keeps going on and on and on. And every day I find new things to be thankful or grateful for.
That's awesome. When I was younger, and raising the kids and running to the job and making sure I got to the market on time, and getting them cleaned up, and bath time and homework time and sports time, and and all of that. A lot of times I was not in the moment. My head was always in the future, or struggling or dancing as fast as I could, just to keep the circus and the monkeys in line. I don't know. I can remember so many times not being appreciative at the end of the day for my day and for my experiences. I was just like, survived another one, I think that now that my life has calmed down a little bit, and I share this wonderful life with this beautiful man, I can finally exhale, appreciate where I am, appreciate the things that we share together and how we support each other. And I appreciate my new friends that come along and open a wonderful door of opportunity, and that are willing to take a risk and do certain things. I appreciate that so much. I just have the time to really slow down. And you know what? I never appreciated the lessons and the challenges in my life. I never did. I never did.
I might say, Kimla, that you never slowed down. I think you're still moving at a pretty fast pace. So.
Really? Okay. Well, I feel like I'm slowed down. But I never, I never really took a deep breath and said, thank you for that trial, that tribulation, that challenge, that argument, that blockage at the time. Sometimes when we get beyond or the other side of a challenge, that's a good time to look back on it. But the more I'm using this gratitude muscle that I've kind of developed now, or have had time to really focus on, let's put it that way. I've been focusing on it. It's interesting. It's kind of like I'm in the middle of it, and all of a sudden I go, wow, this is a chance for me to use or to learn the lesson of unconditional love. And I'm smack in the middle of it. It's like the timing is not like I'm done with it, and I'm over on the other side looking back. Well, what's the lesson that I learned from that? No. It's right experiencing the challenge where I go, oh, this is something that I get to grow stronger in, or I get to obtain a new perspective in. I've never had that before. Duncan, do you feel like, you wait till you get to the other side on a challenge and then look back over it and go, oh, I learned something from that? Or, are you living in the moment where you're like, oh, I could stop and change this and pivot right now and really appreciate, appreciate that I now can, or I have the power to use or to absorb a new type of emotion on the challenge.
Exactly. Yeah.
Are you doing that now?
Yeah, I've more recently. Sometimes I'll find myself in an argument with someone, or like at a disagreement, and it's happening. It's kind of difficult to do this, to take hold of your emotions, because it just wants to pull you in whatever direction the conversation's going, or it's really interesting. But I realized that one thing that really helped me with controlling those emotions is just taking a minute. I don't know, I feel like my guides or angels are talking to me, and it's like I get silent in my head, and I recognize, like, oh, this is not going in the direction I want it to be. And sometimes my blood is boiling or something like that, but then I'm like, oh, like the only thing I got to do now is just move into my heart, and I move into that place of love for what's happening in that experience. And then moving into love really changes the entire outcome of it. And it's really interesting because it starts changing the reality around you, and it's very interesting, and other people pick up on it, and then they start moving in that direction too, and then love wins in that conversation. So it's I've had experiences like that. And but before going through challenges, or just life events, I'm going through a life event right now. And I'm like, oh, I'm so ready to get past the holidays and start like working on the things I need to work on, and or like changing my diet, and it's like, all right, I can't wait for the holidays to get over, because I want to eat all this stuff, but I really want to get to eating healthy again. And I don't know, I do have those experiences, and more recently, I've been learning how to appreciate the luckily the wisdom from that. And I kind of see that as it's happening more recently. So maybe a few years ago, no, but yeah, more recently, yes. Oh, and by the way, we have Sheila in the comments. She said that she agrees with Mr. Bill, and that Kimla is like a whirlwind, and that's a good thing.
Hi, Sheila. Thanks so much for tuning in. Sheila is my #1 fan, and she's been with me for so many years, and I'm so truly grateful for your support. And also, we all get such a kick out of Sheila. She's the brightest light, and thank you so much for tuning in tonight. And
she's always in the chat room too.
She's always in the chat room, getting everyone going, and we sure do appreciate that.
One of our biggest supporters.
Yeah, great. Absolutely. So, Mr. Bill.
Yes.
So, as time goes on, do you feel as though you're appreciating, the littler things in life, or the bigger things in life? Or?
I think as time goes on, you really start to appreciate the little things in life that maybe you took for granted before. Yeah. So a lot of things come into play there. I mean, I used to take for granted like playing tennis, and the fact that I can still do that today, it used to be, it's a big thing, but it's also a little thing. I mean, it's not, I'm happy to be able to continue to do that, but years ago, I didn't even think about it. And so I kind of took it for granted. Now I don't take it for granted. And because I can still do it even at my age. And it's fun for me to go out there and do that. And I really appreciate, that I can continue to play. And the same goes for swimming. I used to be a competitive swimmer. I'm not anymore. And the fact that I can go out and still swim a mile 3 times a week, which I do, is
amazing.
It's something that I really am thankful for and I'm grateful for, and that I can still do that, just like playing tennis. But there are a lot of things that I think I took for granted years ago in terms of family, and losing people like my mother and father and my brother. I no longer take for granted, family and close friends. I mean, because they may not be here tomorrow.
Right.
So it's really important to enjoy them and make sure that you communicate with them and that you are thankful that they're still around, for sure.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, family can be hard sometimes. Your friends can be hard sometimes. And when you try to get everybody together over the holidays, there are some rough patches. There are some expectations. There are things that maybe point out, your own value, or you may feel undervalued. You may feel as though you're not bringing enough to the table, or you may have to put on a show and perform, for your family and friends instead of being from the heart, like Duncan was saying. When you drop down into that heart light center, it just comes out in a natural flow. The body's an amazing thing. I have to say that when you're younger, you really haven't had the challenge of age. Let's just say, you can't suppress age, but you haven't really made friends with aging because you never had to. It's kind of like you always wanted to be older than you are,
Sure.
But when, the body is something that I hope to teach young people to appreciate at an earlier age, instead of waiting until you're trying to befriend aging. And if you do appreciate your body at a young age, you will have that wonderful friend and that wonderful perspective throughout your whole entire life. Do you know that when you suffer a trauma or a physical injury or perhaps abuse, this actually paralyzes your cells, and your cells literally freeze, and they can't function, okay? Because they're literally and quite honestly in shock. And this is emotional trauma. When you are flowing, when you are in gratitude and appreciation, and you are so thankful for the little things, what actually happens is that your electromagnetic field expands, and you actually open up to the portal to raise your frequency to joy. And this is something that's absolutely critical to the functioning and the health of your body. It slows down the heart rate. It lowers your blood pressure. It actually hydrates your body. It's amazing. So that it's kind of like, you oil your machinery, so, you don't have the creaks and all of that. And it also lowers your cortisol rate. It dissolves stress. It just does away with any kind of depression and anxiety when you start to be very, very grateful of things. And I know that some people have suffered very deep, deep scars and traumas in their life, and they are not to the point of forgiveness or compassion or any of that. Meditation is a wonderful tool to just get inside yourself, connect with your higher self, so that the higher self does all the work for you, so you don't actually have to relive the trauma. You can do a past life regression too, and get the same benefits from that. But actually, every day, just finding one thing to be grateful for and focusing in on that one thing is enough to give your body and your auric field, your electromagnetic field, a bump up. You don't have to take a pill. You don't have to take a shot. You don't have to do any of that. And it all comes from a thought. Your thought actually creates or expresses emotion. And this emotion combined with thought is actually the equation for manifestation. I know that's a little that's a little complicated, but
no, it's good. Good description.
Yeah, but what it does is it actually creates more of the experiences so that you can build on new opportunities. You can build on being more creative with your life. You've got the power, right? You've got the power to be happy. You've got the power to get out of where you are, and you've got the power to dream and to make goals for yourself, to learn new things from whatever way you are. But just to be, Bill was saying he was so grateful now, that his body allows him to play tennis and allows him to swim. And, when you're younger, you just take your body for granted, and
I would agree with that. Yep.
yeah. And I mean, I've been known to abuse my body because I just thought, I can just pop up the next day, get right back into it. And, have you ever done that, Bill?
What? Woke up the next day not feeling so well?
Yeah.
Anytime.
Anytime.
Because you decided to abuse your body the night before or whatever, and the day before, and the next day your body's telling you, I didn't like that so much. And so,
yeah.
It's. I think as you get older too, you do less and less of that sort of thing because you don't want to abuse your body like that anymore, like we did when we were in college or a lot younger. And I did plenty of that myself, so I know how that feels. But it's it's good now to slow down when it comes to not treating your body well, because you'll feel it in spades for not just the next day, but could be for days after that. Because you didn't do the right thing.
Right. And so what happens is that when you are not tuned into the body or appreciating the body or giving your body the value and the thankfulness that you have this particular vehicle, what happens is that you actually, the cells, after, a stagnant period of time, cells start to corrupt. It's kind of like a bad board in your computer. It starts to, your cells start to corrupt, and they start to develop an imbalance in the body and a wave of degeneration. And there's so many things that our sponsor, Fresh and Alive, has to prevent that for us. I think it's a great time to segue into our wonderful support of our sponsor at this time, Ken Rolla and freshandalive.com. gmail.com. We're going to go and take a little break. We're going to come back. I'm going to do some reading for anybody that would like a card and a reading in the chat room, if possible. And Bill is going to give us another little fun story about appreciating life. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. You're listening to 27 Degrees SAG, the Galactic Center.
Wireless technologies have given us many amazing conveniences and enhancements to our lives, but there is an invisible downside to all this convenience. Electromagnetic fields, or EMF, the silent, invisible, pulsing signals from Wi-Fi, cell phones, the global 5G networks, cordless phones, and other sources of EMF accelerate brainwave states, weaken the immune system, cause sleep problems, brain fog, memory loss, lack of focus, and more. EMF can damage DNA and your pineal gland or third eye, shutting down your intuitive abilities as well. Now you can protect yourself with unique cutting-edge technologies from freshandalive.com. The Rest Shield and Home Shield scalar energy devices. These one-of-a-kind technologies use advanced physics to structure EMF in your home or surrounding area, greatly reducing the damaging effects of EMF and allowing you to sleep deeply in a cocoon of soothing, subtle energy. Learn more at freshandalive.com.
All right, and we're back.
Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. We're back. This is 27 Degrees SAG, the Galactic Center. If you don't know where your Galactic Center is in your chart, I'd love to show you. I'd love to introduce your particular soul imprint to you. And, there's nothing like getting to know yourself inside and out. And also the cosmic weather and what's coming up for us. If you would like to have a reading with me. I'm running a sale, by the way, and this is for the week of Thanksgiving. It's my gratitude for you. Please check out my website, Kimla, Lowe, LOWE.com. And I would love to make a booking with you and anything else. I do feng shui as well, and I am a psychic medium. And also home sales. If you're thinking about moving or you need some advice, what we do is we refer out agents to you that have all of the sacred secrets and will love to accommodate you and finding you a sacred space. Make sure you get a hold of us. And Bill is also into real estate as well, right, Bill?
I am. Well, we're working on our real estate licenses here in Florida. Not quite there yet, but we will be soon. So we will be licensed and ready to go probably right around the first of the year.
Yeah.
So that's probably a pretty good time.
Yeah, and we're still on the referral program for Texas, so we're making that transition.
Right.
It's one of those things you've got to appreciate where you are, because so many people now, especially with what we've experienced for the last 2 years now, I'm going to say, is that we have been aware that we need to make some changes and get new perspectives on things. And it's funny how space also accommodates all of that, and people are appreciating new space. They're appreciating enough space to work at home and to be able to be in a space where they can walk outside the door and be in nature, perhaps grow their own food or have their own well, and all of those kinds of things. So we are all always going through a bit of a transition, but I think in this particular case, the gatherings for Thanksgiving, we're going to be saying a nice meditation and a prayer later before we wrap it up for those who are going to be missing their family members or their friends that they have lost during these 2 years, and also to let you all know that you are never alone. You are valued, you're loved, you carry light, and light is the information and the particles directly from the God source. You carry that inside of you. So you are so important. you have a job to do. You have to take care of that little light inside of you. So just to make sure that if you are feeling as though, you're questioning your value, or perhaps it's not clear as to what you're appreciating around you at this particular time, sometimes we just can't see the goodness that we're living in at this moment. We've all been there. And I'm here to let you know that there is a national suicide prevention lifeline, and the number will be in our bio line. Is that right, Duncan? The 800 number?
Yes, it's in the description below for the suicide hotline. And yeah, that's on the Facebook description as well as the YouTube description. So yeah, if you know anyone that needs help, or that is not in a great place, there it is. Time to think about our family and friends and where they're at emotionally, and yeah, definitely.
And sometimes they're not strong enough to dial the number, and you can do that for them, or you can do that and get advice as to how to really show them the way. And I think that's really important. You can take that step for them as well. We're not all counselors, and we're not all ready to do CPR for a mental capacity like that. But we can take direction. We can be supportive of others. And I think if you're grateful for the things that you have around you, that makes you strong enough to take that step and help others when they are in that particular situation. So know that you are never alone. We're always here, and we're always here to help you and support you. And I'm grateful for the people that are out there every day working to help and to support people who are going through a mental transition as well. So we were talking about being grateful. We were talking about, this beautiful heart energy that Duncan was saying, he drops into his heart, and that way the love, comes back, and really, the love always wins. Isn't it cool? Thanksgiving Thursday, the moon's going to be in Leo, and Leo is all about the heart. It rules the heart. And it has this wonderful creative sense for children, for any kind of projects that you have, to make your particular day as creative and heartfelt as you possibly can. So are there any ways that you plan to maybe bringing in that love? Sometimes we do it through food, through, nurturing the family. And that way, and I have noticed that Bill does that quite a lot. He likes to nurture others through food. And yes, you do. Yes, you do. You make sure that we have everything we need. And
well, you're my best friend. You're my best friend then, Bill.
Pretty funny.
Yeah, he does. So y'all want to jump in and talk about a story that maybe you want to kind of share about being grateful?
I can share one. Hopefully it's not too long, but yeah, it's about being grateful for family, I would say, and all throughout my lifetime. I grew up in Southern California, and I had a brother and a sister, and my mom and dad, of course, and I think I was pretty grateful for my family, except for my little brother, which I was not so grateful for. Matter of fact, I didn't treat him very well. For pretty much, we didn't have anything in common, and I didn't therefore treat him very well all the way through school. Even after that, I never really connected with my younger brother. And then I think, that all changed years later. Kimla and I were on a cruise, and we were in a port. I think it was Grand Cayman or somewhere like that. we went to the beach, and we were sitting out at the beach having a beer, and this big this big white feather came out of nowhere. There was no birds flying over. There was nothing around us except the beach and the water. This big white feather, kind of like the one in Forrest Gump, came out of nowhere and landed in between our beach chairs. And immediately Kimla says, something happened to somebody. And I mean, I think those were the words she used. And so when we get back to the ship, my cell phone was back at the ship. It wasn't with us because there was no service. When we got back to the ship, I noticed that I had a bunch of messages from my son, my oldest son, my sister, I think my cousin. I mean, there was a couple messages on there, and so I called my sister, and she advised me that my brother had just passed away. And so immediately we knew the reason for that feather, that something had happened, and something had happened to my brother, and apparently he had a heart attack and died, and it was the day after Christmas. It was the 26th of December, and so it was really a shock because he was a young guy. He was only 69, I think it was, and I was like, after that happened, I was like, holy crap! I didn't even, I didn't treat him very well for our whole life. I didn't really connect with him very well. I didn't communicate with him very well. I didn't even go to it. He recently, 3 months before, got married again. I didn't go to his wedding. And I immediately thought, man, I really should have been more thankful for family than I was, particularly for him. And so I decided that after that I would, try to make a change and be, a better family member. And of course, my mom and dad, I mentioned before, had passed away. My brother's passed away now, and the only one left is my sister. So I kind of vowed to try to make some improvements there. I don't know that I've made all the ones I need to make yet, but I think I'm pretty committed to try to make some improvements there. And I found out later as well that I have a half brother I didn't even know about that resurfaced a couple of years ago, and so I've also made an effort to try to communicate with him and try to make sure that I'm a better family member. So that's my story.
Wow. Yeah. I'm here to support that. That feather was amazing. It was like one of those big ones, those like big white ones. And it just floated right between both of us. We were like, oh, wow, But yeah, how wonderful that you were given the gift and a second chance with your half-brother now.
Yep.
To, and you know what? I think your brother gave you a sign not to feel guilty, that he really still, adored you and knew that you loved him anyway. Unconditional love.
I did. I just never. I was never very. I was not a great brother to him, for sure.
Aw.
But,
well, you get a second chance now.
But you learn from that. I mean, you do learn from that, and then you do realize how much you really appreciated family, but you never really showed it like you should have.
Right. Absolutely. And a lot of times, family members, I lost my brother in May, and some family members, they love you dearly. They're just unable to express it. And sometimes they're not the easiest person to really let anybody of the family in, even though we would have loved to. But that just didn't, he didn't feel comfortable with that. So you have to accept people, you have to check your expectations about that, but it's wonderful to come into the awareness of, wow, now I'm going to be more grateful. Now I'm going to be, more thankful for that kind of thing.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. So Duncan, you're up next with your story.
I have a lot to be grateful for, man, I was thinking about it last night. I went on a walk, and there's a great place to walk around here over in Port Orange, Florida, and there is a lake there at this trail, and there's lights around, and it's perfect to walk at night because it's so well lit. And I went on this walk, maybe around like 9 o'clock, and oh man, I was just going at a slow pace and just observing and taking everything in and looking around and enjoying the trees and touching the trees and enjoying. There's really beautiful fragrant trees there that smells like Christmas trees, and I don't know what it is, but it was really nice. And I sat on a bench and I was looking at the water, and there was a duck like in the water just going by, passing by, and late at night, and I'm like, I think that duck should be sleeping, but anyway, I saw the waves, and I saw the reflection off of the water from the lights, and it made me realize how beautiful the area was, and it made me recognize that, man, my life is actually really like pleasant, like it's like really just smooth, easy going, and then I also take things easily too, even when things get negative or whatever, it's like I have a higher perspective of what's going on more recently, and it's been great. And I talked to my, I'm very grateful for my family and all my friends and loved ones, and especially my friends. I have a lot of people that are supporting me, and it's so nice. And also my guides. I believe I'm being divinely protected, in some aspects, and it's just there's so much to be grateful for. And I talked to my mom last week about this show. And I asked her if she wanted to say anything, or if she can give me an idea of what I can say. So she said that whenever she was younger, her great grandmother, which is two greats, she is that right? I don't know. It's her great grandma. It's my third great grandma for somehow. She would go over to her grandma's house, and her grandma was an interesting character, so she was just really like interesting and like kind of like connected with her garden, and kind of like spunky and a little wiry a little bit, but like a good humor about her. So what she would do at Thanksgiving is invite my mom over and her brothers, and they would sit down and actually be grateful for nature, and just sit in nature and observe, and be grateful for all the animals and bugs, and walk through the garden with them. And one interesting tidbit too is that her grandma would pick up rhinoceros beetles that like passed away, and she would make like little magnets and put it on the refrigerator. So that she would have rhinoceros beetle magnets on the refrigerator, and it's just so funny how quirky all of that is. And I just appreciated that story that my mom shared, and it was nice. So there.
I thought you were going to say she put them in the stuffing.
In the turkey. No.
Okay.
That's funny though.
Oh, that's great. You know what? Yeah, absolutely. The appreciation of the animal kingdom, the appreciation of how they're give you so much unconditional love, but also Mother Earth herself. Just to appreciate Mother Earth. Mother Earth sustains us. We wouldn't have a chance if we didn't have the wonderful bounty and the beautiful feasts that Mother Earth produces for us, and just for our survival. So it's a wonderful thing. So many counselors and so many guides and people who are really wanting to shed some light on gratitude and appreciation, ask that you have a gratitude journal and that you write down things. Writing actually is a connecting to the love, to the heart chakra. And when you write, even if you're typing, it really does connect to your heart chakra and brings out your particular love vibe. And when you write things down, it's permanent, it's solid, it's something you can go back and look at. It's something that perhaps the words that you choose at the time are very, they're secret codes. And when you go back and when you read it again, you're like, wow, that's amazing. I wrote that. I mean, it's just like, whoa, I was so powerful then. And you may not feel powerful at the moment you go back and you look at what you've written in the past. And sometimes you're actually channeling some messages from your guides and from your angels and archangels. And you don't even realize that that's the code, or that's the idea that's coming through, or perhaps that's the guide that you need. I'd be more than happy to read for somebody in the chat room right now. I know we have Julie. Hi, Julie, and Ivy, and also Sheila. If you would like for me to pull a card, I would be more than happy to, because I'm so grateful for you. Is there anyone that would like me to pull a card in the chat room?
There is. People are already lining up. So the first one to comment is Sheila. She said that she would be happy for a card. Please and thanks. Also, Tweety Bird says hi. And happy Turkey Day to everyone. Gobble, gobble.
Tweety Bird, that's cute. All right. Okay. Well, first of all, I've got a couple of things here for Sheila. And Sheila, it looks like there's a question, should I stay, should I go, what should I do? And I feel like the answer right away that comes up for you is the card that says yes. You are to go ahead and go forward. Sometimes right around eclipse time, we're having another eclipse. This is very important on December 4th. This time it's a total solar eclipse. This is also going to be changing the opportunities in the portals for us, so that we can perhaps begin a transition, or we get a green light on something that we've been waiting for a long time. And this particular card tells me that right around December 4th, you are going to hear of an opportunity, and I would say yes. Take that opportunity, absolutely. I feel like you're going to be kind of guided to a service that you haven't done, or maybe you've done it but you haven't really come out of the closet about it. Like, I can really do this, But it's your time. So I feel like the universe is going to be supporting a transition for you. So the answer is yes. Go for that particular transition. And who's the next one, Duncan?
We have Geraldine O'Toole. She says, my Mars is in 27 degrees Sag, right on my midheaven. Is that my galactic center, is her question.
Yes.
She said,
yes, it is.
She says a card would be nice if time allows as well. Yep.
You are a light worker of the nth degree, and I hope that you are really opening up to listening to that broadcast that's coming through for you. With that, you are an international person. You love to travel. You love different philosophies. You even love different types of food. I'd probably take you to a Thai restaurant for your birthday. Something like that. But let's see. Yes, that is an amazing amount of action. So you are the person who has had the south node transiting that particular area of your chart, and that kind of held you down, maybe doubted what you were doing, or perhaps clouded your purpose in life. That is easing up now. So you're really going to be gaining some momentum in that particular area in 2022. So I feel as though in the near future, you're going to be ready to really branch out, taking a risk as to your next move. You're going to have to compromise with either the people around you or the type of, let's just say, responsibility that you think that you need to do. So you're going to have to compromise on that. But in the very near future, you are definitely going to have a clarity that, yes, you are ready to do the work that that your soul has sent you here to do. So practice your compromising skills, because you are going to have to kind of create a balance in order to go ahead and to do the work and the mission here that you've taken on. Who's next?
All right, we have Ivy. She says that she would love a message.
Okay. Any kind of message, Ivy? I'm being guided to get a different deck. Hold on one second. For Ivy, I've got on. I know this is inconvenient of me to do this right now, but sorry.
That's right.
It was way out of my reach. This is for Ivy. I know, Ivy, you've got a lot of power that you're still going through, and you're still kind of trying to get your truth out there. And I feel as though there's a little bit of pushback, a little bit of penetration, a little bit of let's say, support that you need that's coming in. I hope that you have a headboard. In Feng Shui, headboards serve as the support that you need to know that the universe is supporting you, especially when you're sleeping in your subconscious realm. All righty.
All right. Ivy says an energetic or general reading, please.
All righty. We are doing this, and we've got two cards here. This is fabulous. This is from Diana Cooper, this particular deck. We've got a lot of fire energy coming at you, and this also takes the place of the sun. Now, the fire energy is putting you through a transition that transmutes the old and takes the new to a higher frequency. Archangel Gabriel is working with you right now with the elemental master of fire. Your guidance is to ask Archangel Gabriel to transform the energy of conflict and then provide a very peaceful, warm, and nourishment to those around you. You can ask this fire energy to help you to eat the right food, so you have the right fuel happening for you for this ascension journey that you have definitely started. It's going to be igniting your aura, and it's going to basically give you this I want to say, an auric glow. The sun, the mighty sun, the central sun is going to be also working with you, and that is going to be working from the navel chakra, nurturing, mothering yourself and others, a little bit more than that. And it's invoking the sun to ignite your enthusiasm for life. So you're going to be more enthusiastic about experiencing life and all of the highs and the lows and where you're going to go and what you are going to do. But your power lies in a fire element right now. You may be drawn to the color red right now. I know it's Christmas time right around the corner. But I would say keep it out of the bedroom. but lighting candles or also wearing oranges and rose colors and even purple. Even purple is a great color to use. Also, if you want to orientate yourself to the south, that's where that fire element resides. And it deals with fame, it deals with recognition, and it deals with people who are honoring the value in you. So that fire element is really going to be working for you, wants to work with you, with Archangel Gabriel. How are we on time, my dear? Oh my gosh, I think we're running out of time.
Yeah.
You please come back, everyone. Please come back. I'd love to do more readings for you next time. We are having, on the next show, we're having an animal psychic. Lizanne Flynn is going to be our special guest. So I want to say thank you to Bill Lowe for being our special guest on the show. Thank you, Bill.
Hey, you're very welcome. It was nice to be here.
And thank you for being my life partner. I do appreciate that and all of your support. And Duncan, I want to say thank you for bringing this fresh energy into my life and for being willing and able to work on this wonderful project that we call our show and bringing such a new perspective into all of our lives. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you so much, Kimla. Thank you, Bill. And thank you, everyone in the chat. Thank you to my friends. I'm so grateful for all of you for being here and supporting us. And yeah, thank you a lot.
Enjoy your Thanksgiving. Have a happy and healthy Thanksgiving celebration. And until next time, may the angels protect you and guide you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.